Dear Diary, this is part 5 of... I hope I can wrap it up in this one. I might be able to. We're finishing our story about the plagiarist currently known as Jessica Delfino, who I loved more than I've loved anybody, who was, in some ways, the girl of my dreams. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. I wanted to make music with her and art. We did all kinds of stuff. She was a cartoonist. When she wasn't a fucking psychopathic asshole liar, she was great. She was one of the greatest females ever. But then even she had the nerve to say, I'm a Gemini. And I'd say, what does that mean? I don't follow that crap. And she'd say, that means I'm split personalities. I went, oh my God, that explains it. Because I had already written a song called Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde. And everybody fucking destroyed my life completely. I mean, you have no clue. Some people are like, all right, so you broke up. Okay, so she had you arrested falsely a few times. Okay, she lost you your fucking rent-free apartment. Okay. Yeah, some of that shit's serious. No. That isn't fucking 1% of it. She destroyed my entire future. I can go into 25 hours of detail if you'd like. She not only destroyed my entire future, she destroyed almost my entire past. By spreading these lies about me, she destroyed most of the work I had done in my life. The political activism I had done, a lot of the art I'd made got destroyed because, well, I beat up women. And I cheated on poor Jessica. I did all these things. She made up all of it. And all the people who know she made up all of it lied. The only person who eventually came forward was, I think, Tina Trachtenberg. Finally went public with some of what Jessica said and said, Jessica, that's not true. Although Tina only kind of did it privately. She didn't go like public and say, everybody, we were best friends with Christopher and Jessica. And every single thing Christopher says is true. And everything Jessica said is a lie. We threw her off the tours for lying to us. We couldn't have her be our friend anymore. We had to cut her off as our friend because she just kept lying. And she was just too fucking self-centered and a fucking asshole. Whereas the Trachtenbergs took me on 8 tours around the country and the world because I'm the most awesome person of all time. And I wish I could find one person like me. So, where was I going? We're talking about plagiarism, turning everybody against me. She destroyed my entire future. You don't know. I can't repair the damage she did. You don't fucking know any of it. You only know a couple little things. And if you know one thing about me by now, you should know I don't exaggerate. Every time people thought I exaggerated, they later found out I was actually being conservative, right? Everybody for 5 years said I was nuts because the New York Times and everybody else said Bernie Kerik, our police commissioner, was a fucking hero's hero, Mr. Honesty, Mr. Great. And I said, no, he's a criminal. I wrote reports exposing his crimes. And everyone said, you're crazy. I said, no, this crook belongs in prison. He's currently in prison, federal prison. He was convicted in numerous different cases of serious shit, and he didn't actually get prosecuted for thousands of his most serious crimes. It's like, okay, so do I exaggerate? He literally went to prison, you fucking assholes. When I talked about using planes to crash into the Twin Towers starting in 1994. Now, I'm not a genius for figuring that out. That's the only logical, practical way if you wanted to fucking take down the 2 Twin Towers, which they said they did. You fucking hijack a jet. You fucking crash into it like you're chopping down a tree. Dolly. And I wasn't the only person who figured it out in 94, starting in 94. And everyone called me crazy and said I was exaggerating. And then nobody apologized after 9/11. 3,000 people had to die because nobody listened to me. No big deal. I mean, we lost trillions of dollars and bankrupted the country. I mean, no big deal. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi and Afghanistani women and children, innocent, had their faces blown off. I mean, the lucky ones died. The unlucky ones are maimed for life and scarred for life and were raped by our soldiers, etc., etc., etc. You can't put a price tag on it. We would have to mutilate and torture every person who didn't listen to me for their entire lives, keeping them alive till they die of old age and torturing them physically every day so they scream 24 hours a day. That's the only thing that could make up for the damage these assholes did by not listening to me and others. there's not one situation where anybody can see that I exaggerated. I told everyone Bloomberg is the worst mayor of all time. And they all said, you're crazy. He's not perfect, but now everyone says he's the worst mayor of all time. 10 years late. Even as recently as 3 years ago, I was saying he's much worse than Giuliani. I never thought that would be possible. He's much worse than Giuliani. Much worse. It's not even close. And people said, well, no, now you've gone too far. Today, whenever I say that, every person, total strangers, go, yeah, he's right. I mean, you're right. He's worse than Giuliani. Much fucking worse than Giuliani. And other people even volunteer that information all over the web, et cetera, et cetera. He's worse than Giuliani. I now tell people, I'm sorry, I can't call him the worst mayor of all time. It's not even close. I can't call him the worst politician in American history. It's not close. I can't call him the worst American or the biggest criminal in American history. That I realized after doing more research, that's not even close. He is literally the sickest and most mentally ill motherfucker and criminal. He's the biggest criminal in recorded history. You think Hitler's worse than him because you're an idiot who doesn't know fucking shit. You don't even know shit about the Nazis. You didn't know they were pro-animal rights. You didn't know Hitler was anti-cigarette smoke. You don't know almost jack shit about the Nazis. You know the fucking moronic, lazy, dishonest digest. The Nazis stood for killing Jews. Wrong. That's not even true. Yes, they did kill a shitload of Jews in the end, but wasn't even part of their agenda. All fucking lazy myths of history. Okay? I'm not defending the Nazis. The Nazis were fucking asshole monsters. But the fucking crib sheets you got were fucking simplified garbage. And you'd know that if you had half a brain. Because it's in front of your fucking face. Right? People say, oh, they just want to slaughter all the Jews. Really? Then why have you seen the photographs of them in their little fucking outfits? Right? Their white and black striped outfits. Remember the photos you all saw? They're in barracks. Right, where they're sleeping on the bunks. Everyone's seen those famous photos of them in the bunks. That should be a clue, idiots. If the goal was to kill all the Jews, would you spend a lot of money making clothes for them? Would you spend a lot of money building barracks and shelters and beds for them? That doesn't make any fucking sense, you idiots. But humans don't think. They knee-jerk. Everything you believe is something somebody told you, and you just accepted it because you were lazy. Just like you believed there was Santa. And you didn't figure out there was no Santa. Somebody probably older than you told you there was no Santa. Right? Just like you probably didn't figure out on your own there was no God. You probably heard other people say it, and then you started realizing over the time, they're right. It really is a fucking stupid story. But you didn't go all the way and say, wait a minute, I might be a fucking idiot for believing in God ever. Right? I stopped believing in God when I was like fucking 4. Because it's no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. All right, I'm digressing. But, I mean, you humans don't realize this is why you destroy everything, because you don't use your fucking heads. You have the capacity to do wonderful things. Humans can do wonderful things. Listen to Claude Debussy's Clair de Lune. It's a masterpiece still. Futuristic masterpiece. Maybe he was an alien, like me. White Kit Kats, white chocolate Kit Kats. It's a fucking masterpiece. Pizza. Pizza's magnificent. See, humans can do good when they want. But I don't think you guys can be saved. Nobody does. But if you just fucking listen to the smart guy, you could fix the human race in fucking 1 week. We could fix the world in 1 fucking week if people just listen to the smart guy. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, I've digressed. I am the Jimi Hendrix of digression. So, where was I? I gotta leave out so many facts, it's depressing. And I gotta keep a watch on this counter because now I'm doing the math. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. Shit, I'm trying to do it in 15-minute increments and failing. So, oh, wait a second. I should be fucking mixing this. No, wait. La 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 la. You know I call. That's natural reverb of the court hallway, 16th floor. And where I've been fucked over. It's kind of ironic that I'm hanging out here, considering this is one of the many places in this building that I have had my rights completely obliterated by my own lawyers. My own lawyers have treated me worse than my enemies have, and that's the way it always was. Nobody treated me worse than my mother, yet my mother should have treated me the best. And people say some people say I don't have bad luck. No, some people are born to mothers who are nice, and some people are born to mothers who aren't nice. It's pure chance. So don't give me this fucking bullshit. I easily have the worst luck of any person in history, and I have the best luck. The problem is it's 10% best luck, 90% worst luck. But again, yes, I don't exaggerate. People think I exaggerate because they're stupid. I don't exaggerate. Mike Bloomberg is the greatest criminal in history, and I'll give you 900,000 facts you didn't know. I mean, heck, just look at it this way. Did Hitler steal $5 billion before he got into power? Nope. Did Cheney? Nope. Did Stalin? Nope. Did Giuliani? Nope. Okay, so you're already on real thin ice if you doubt me, assholes. Moving on. Delfino ruined my entire past and my entire future. I'm beyond dead inside. And whatever. I'm just trying to finish up some loose ends before I hang myself, because life is pointless to begin with. But when your life is catastrophe every day, remember, if you took the worst thing that ever happened to you, the worst day of your life, every single day of my life is worse. You don't have to believe me. Let's debate it, asshole, in public. Let's get back to Delfino and the plagiarist that she is. Now, obviously, Delfino was a bit of a sponge, and she would do things. She has a shitty memory, and she would do things like, here's a concrete example. I have 2 little patches of hair on my shoulder blades, symmetrical. And this girl I was friends with, Julie, who was the inspiration for my hit single, Lesbian Slayer, I used to sleep over her house because I liked to cuddle when I was celibate. But I did like to cuddle and snuggle. And I would sleep over Julie's house a lot because she lived a couple blocks away from me. And Julie was a really wonderful person, very nice. I don't think she was ever an asshole. But I was sworn to celibacy, so it wasn't like I could date her. I thought she was hot, but I wasn't allowed to date girls. And Julie, one day, looking at the little bits of hair on my 2 shoulder blades, said something about, she was probably baked, but she said something about, she likes to think they're my angel wings, where my angel wings were. And I mentioned that to Delfino years later. And then one day, Delfino's in bed with me a year later and says it again, as if it's her quote. She did that a lot. And that I don't blame her for. That's just a shitty memory. That wasn't dishonest. A lot of what she did was dishonest. A lot of things she did was just wrong. She would scramble facts. She confused. Here's an example. She couldn't remember our fucking anniversary. She couldn't even remember the month of our anniversary, October. That's sad. But what can you do? And she would scramble. I shouldn't get bogged down in details. Focus. Keep it streamlined and simplistic for you human beings to comprehend. She would do that a lot. She'd take credit for other people's work. I also would notice she was like a sponge. For instance, when she started hanging out with the ODebra twins, she cut her bangs like Tanya ODebra. Delfino did that a lot, where she was like single white female. Yikes. She would start she'd start stealing stuff from Rosie Rebel, a stand-up comic friend of ours. She would start to imitate Dame Darcy, and then started dressing like Dame Darcy. Delfino is a bit of she's a super plagiarist. Obviously she got her original career almost completely from Sarah Silverman. The dirty jokes and stuff like that, and then doing songs. So she didn't deny that. She said Sarah Silverman was a big influence on her. But I would see her take credit for a lot of work that wasn't hers, including my own work. And I'm going to write a wonderful song about it. Plagiarist currently known as Jessica Delfino. But regardless, I guess I'll finish the fun details. We were in Scotland, and now our relationship's going on 4 years. Really ugly. Really just endless fucking violence from her. Endless lies. Endlessly smearing me in public behind my back so other people would tell her she was wonderful and I was the bad guy. So she could get that validation. And it just got worse. It was out of control, and it was explosive. And it's like, how the fuck do I get out of this? I don't want to. I want to be with her for the rest of my life, but I can't kill the monster. I even gave her monster side a name, Loretta, to try and say, no, I love Jessica Delfino. I even have a song called Another Woman Came Between Us, which is about her other half. I mean, there was no warm, for instance, there was no warm half. It wasn't like there was a warm side to Jessica and a cold side. She was always cold. But there was an honest side to her where she could be brutally honest, and I loved that side. And then a side that was brutally dishonest. But it was apparent that there was no way I could get her to change. There's nothing I could do about it. It's like, how we have to figure out a way to end this. I don't know how we're going to do it. Because we have all these projects together, all of our children, our lives, like no matter what, our lives are entwined for the rest of our life, whether we like it or not. That's how symbiotic we were. And so we all went to Scotland, a whole bunch of us. Rosie Rebel, Dr. Steamwhipple, who had a crush on Jessica. And the Trachtenbergs had a flat with like 6 bedrooms, huge flat. And they said we could all stay with them. They said, but the catch is, Jessica, you can't start any fights with Christopher. We don't need to hear that shit like you did on tours. Otherwise, you can't stay with us. Jessica said, okay, I agree. Needless to say, she started a fight every single day in the apartment. So then when we got to London, they said, guess what, Jessica? You can't stay with us. And Jessica, you fucking asshole. I was like, no, you made a promise and you didn't keep. Jessica broke every promise she ever made with me. Like when I was in jail for 7 months, she said, I promise when you get out, I won't be violent anymore. Like, okay, there's not a 1% chance that's true. You don't even mean it. You're so fucking insincere. And as soon as I got out, she was same old violent, dishonest asshole. Fucking bully. And so, in Scotland, I broke up with her the first night in Scotland. And bad for her, but bad for me, Dr. Steamwhipple is an eyewitness to the whole event.